Last page, yay. And this section will be done. Welcome to college algebra. Now, when I take a look at this problem here, this is kind of like I might see it in a calculus class after I performed a process called the derivative. Let's see if I can get this a little bit clearer here. There we go. It looks like it's me. So if I take a look at what's going on right here, is that it would be nice if I could just clean this up. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is still x squared plus 4 to the 4/3 plus, I have a 2x, an x, and a 4/3. So 2 times 4/3 is 8/3. And then x times x is x squared. And this gives me an x squared plus 4 to the 1/3. We have really a couple of things going on here that we need to take a look at. First of all, we do have a b, and my blob is going to be x squared plus 4. That's the easy part. And in order to do what your book is going to want you to do, we're going to have to perform a little trick. There are two things I know. I know that 8/3 can be written as 1/3 times 8, and that 3/3, which is 1, is 1/3 times 3. So we're going to go after the answer that's in your book. So what am I going to need to do? I'm going to need to take the 1 that's in front of here. I'm going to rewrite that as 1/3 times 3. So that's 3/3 or 1. This is going to be a b to the 4/3 plus. Now 8/3 we said is 1/3 times 8. So this is going to be 1/3 times 8 x squared b to the 1/3. Now if I look at my GCF is 1/3, and then I have a b, and the smallest power is 1/3. So what am I going to be left with? If I remove the 1/3, I've got a 3. If I remove a b to the 4/3, I'm going to remove 1/3 plus. I'm going to take the 1/3, I'm going to be left with the 8x squared, and a b to the 1/3, I am going to remove 1/3, so he's going to be gone. So 1/3 b to the 1/3 times 3b, 4/3 minus 1/3 is 3/3 or 1, plus 8x squared, because b to the 1/3 minus 1/3, b to the 0 is 1. Now reinsert b, so 1/3 b to the 1/3 times 3b plus 8x squared. Now what was b? b is x squared plus 4. So I get 1/3 times x squared plus 4 to the 1/3 times, this is 3x squared plus 12 plus 8x squared, or 1/3 times x squared plus 4 to the 1/3. 3x squared plus 8x squared is 11x squared plus 12. Now that's a perfectly good answer, but your book might have it as x squared plus 4 to the 1/3 times 11x squared plus 12, and that's all going to be divided by 3, which is also a perfectly good answer. Personally, I would leave it the way it is on the first one. I'm kind of the person who will actually quit while they're still ahead, so before I can make a mistake. Last problem on this section, and can we say yay? Except for one thing, we've got two substitutions to make. I've got a 6x plus 1, and I have a 4x minus 3. So I'm going to now use two substitutions. I'm going to let a be equal to parentheses 6x plus 1, and b be equal to the parentheses 4x minus 3. So essentially, any place I have a 6x plus 1, I put an a. Any place I have a 4x minus 3, I put a b. So I'll have 6a to the 1/3 b to the 3/2 plus 6a to the 4/3 b to the 1/2. Now it's more typical of the kind of problem that we have been working previously. I have a greatest common factor of 6, an a and a b. The smallest power on the a is 1/3. Smallest power on the b is 1/2. I'm taking the 6 from the a to the 1/3. I'm removing 1/3, so he's gone. From the b to the 3/2, I'm removing 1/2, plus I'm taking the 6, a to the 4/3, I am removing 1/3, b to the 1/2, I'm removing 1/2, so that 6, a to the 1/3, b to the 1/2, a to the 0 is 1, so that's gone. B to the 3/2 minus 1/2 is 2/2. A to the 4/3 minus 1/3 is 3/3. And B to the 1/2 minus 1/2 is 1. We're not done. So now what I need to do is I need to replace A and B. So 6A to the 1/3 and b to the 1/2 times b plus a. Now a is 6x plus 1. B is 4x minus 3. B is 4x minus 3. A is 6x plus 1. Remove parentheses, combine like terms, 6x plus 1 to the 1/3, 4x minus 3 to the 1/2. That's a plus, so I don't need the parentheses. This is 10x minus 2. But unfortunately, this guy has a GCF of 2, so I need to remove him because I'm not done. 6 times 6x plus 1 to the 1/3, 4x minus 3 to the 1/2, 2 times 5x minus 1. Did I make an error? No, I'm fine. So 2 times 6 is 12. 6x plus 1 to the 1/3. 4x minus 3 to the 1/2. And 5x minus 1. And there she is. Thank God we're done.